Welcome to our next lecture. We have an amazing author, photographer, storyteller, a guy with an impressive CV. He will tell you today how to have a mission, how to achieve it. He promised me that after this lecture, every one of you will know their mission. Eugene, Theodore, welcome.
Thank you, everyone. I always feel presenting on the last day is a bit of a challenge. You know, you're basically at the end of your tether. But in order to, let's say, liven up a bit the proceedings, I suggest we do some exercise. So can everyone stand up and do about 10 lunges? You're all very eager until I got to the action. Okay, now I realize we're at a yachting conference, so lunges are probably misappropriate. Should we go for a swim? Any good swimmers here? Okay, all right, so I'm going to start picking on you for the rest of the session. Thank you very much for identifying her. No, I do want to add some animation to the room, so I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I want you to stand if you feel the question is relevant to you, and stay standing or not if the subsequent questions are relevant. So, first question. Do you have a love for the sea? And that could mean sailing it, that could mean just sticking your toes in the water on a beach holiday. Good. 100% response rate. Second question. No, stay standing. We're not done yet. Second question. Please stay standing if you'd like to learn how to have a bigger impact on your business. Good. 100%. Getting good odds here. Last question. Please stay standing if you'd like to develop a deeper connection with your clients, your partners, your employees. Excellent. All right. You may all sit down after you do one more lunge. Okay. All right. Now, who am I and why am I here? I'm not a broker, I'm not an agent, I'm not a charter organizer, I'm definitely not a yacht owner. I wish I was. But I have had my share of experiences with yachts. Last count, I counted I've been on about 100 of them. Some of them very small dinghies, some of them a bit like this. But I also realized that out of the 100 or so yachts I've been on, 98 of them never left their mooring, right? They never left their dock. They were for product launches, brand launches, conferences, meetings, every conceivable use of a yacht except sailing it. Now, can anyone tell me where this is? No? This is the world's first underground roundabout, and it connects 3 islands in the Faroe Islands. It was a 150 million euro project. And they thought, well, since we're digging the damn thing, we might as well make it interesting to go through. This was a key reason why I did one of those other 2 yachting trips that I told you about, where the boat actually went out to sea. Because I wanted to explore the Faroe Islands. It's a photographer's dream. It's any person's dream. I mean, it's one of the last few places on Earth that has been untouched by man. So not just the underground roundabout, but the nature and the people and all the rest of it. But it came with a few provisions. One of them being I had to do North Atlantic survival training. So before I'd even gotten on the boat, I had to dive into 5-degree water with a dry suit and float there for an hour just to see how it would feel in case I was knocked overboard while trying to get there. Now, getting to Faroe Islands isn't as simple as you might think. It's a nice 2-day journey. But of course, the window that we had was between 2 cyclones. So we left just after one had passed Scotland. And just as we launched, the skipper said, oh, there's another one on its back. It's on its tail. We sort of need to speed up and hope that we'll get there before it hits us. So in the middle of 5, 6, and 7 meter swells, bobbing up and down, the first night's watch, he comes to me and he says, so for the next 5 hours, you have to stay awake and you have to look out for fishing vessels. I said, why does anyone have to stay up? I mean, you have modern technology, we have sonar, you've got alarms, you've got everything. The boat course corrects, can go around objects. He says, you know what? The fishing vessels in the North Atlantic, they run dark because they're all super secretive about where they go fishing and they don't want the other fishing boats to know where their fishing grounds are. Now, when we're talking about fishing vessels, we're talking about factories on the sea that are 3 times the size of this building. So imagine running into that and no one even knowing about it. And you can't see them. You can't scan for them because they turn their sonar beacons off as well. Makes it, So you're like, I'm in the middle of nowhere and I'm going to be crushed by a man-made object and no one's even going to know about it. Anyway, As you can see, we did make it, and we even toured a bit of the Faroe Islands. We had some great winds, 8, 9 knot winds. We had countercurrents of -8 and -9 as well, so we were sometimes just edging forward half a knot. And after I got off of the Faroe Islands, the skipper, who's a friend of mine, he got on another crew, and he completed the Northwest Passage, which was a dream of his for the last 20 years. So going through the Arctic, over Canada, and then obviously doing a tour of the Americas. Now this trip, the crew we came to affectionately call the Polar Bear Diaries. That was my addition, because I was hoping while he was going through the Arctic, he'd get bitten in the ass by a polar bear, and then I would have wonderful marketing material to sell his book, to sell his adventure, to sell his speaking gigs, and be like, he's not just someone who went through the Northwest Passage, he survived going through the Northwest Passage. For the record, he didn't get bit by anything, nothing remotely that dangerous happened, but he did fulfill his dream. Now I want to take a pause there, because I've shared a lot of personal information, and I want to ask you, what are some of the details of the story I just told you that you remember? And any, they could be mundane, they could be whatever, just shout them out. Okay, fishing boats you can't see. The cyclones. The countercurrents, yeah. Right? Yeah. Good. You were all at the roundabout. Great. So you all saw it and heard it and repeated it. Great. That's cognitive. Did I mention in any of that story any of this stuff? And yet, when your clients come to you, you end up talking about this quite a lot, don't you? Or even their opening question is, I need a boat, I need X cabins, I need these kinds of dietary requirements, I need this set services, right? It very rarely turns into the, yeah, but why do you want this? Why are you really here, other than where you're going and what you need to get there? If you want to build that better connection with your clients, you need to know where you're starting from, where they're starting from, and you need to converge somewhere in the middle. You need to find that congruency between their story and your story. It might not always be there, but you at least need to try. And you need to get away from this area, especially the last one, right, which is the bane of everyone's existence. So I'm going to share with you a methodology that we've used at our agency, which is called PATH. Nice short acronym. And I'm going to take you through each one of these sections. There's going to be a few quick exercises. You are going to have to talk to each other, and you're going to have to talk to me. But we'll get through them quite quickly. So if I can have your attention for 20, 25 more minutes, I think, as Martina said, you will be able to walk out of here with a greater degree of understanding both who you are, who your customer is, and how to connect the two. Starting off, can anyone tell me what P stands for, or what you think P stands for? Product. So the product meaning the boats, the service, okay. Anything else? Any other ideas? Peace. Okay. Peace, that's an interesting one. No? People, another interesting one. No? Profits, passion. The gentleman over here is closest to it. It's not passion, it's purpose, right? It's your North Star. It's basically why did you as operators, you as agents, you as whatever identity you have, why did you get into this business? And if you've forgotten, we're going to try and remind you today, because if not, there's going to be an issue moving forward. As I said, purpose is your North Star. So what I want you to think about in 1 minute, by yourselves, in your notebooks, on your phones, wherever you are, just think about what it is that got you involved in this area, in this industry. Did you like the lifestyle? Did you like the geographies it takes you to? Did you like the people, the community that you're in, both customers and on your side? Whatever it is, one simple, two simple statements, just jot it down or bring it to mind. You can use a construct like this. You don't have to, but it's just sort of an easy way to sort of organize your thoughts. And in a minute, we'll converge again. This is where the Jeopardy music should play, but... I'll give you about 15 more seconds. pressure's on. All right. Lunchtime. In pairs or in groups of 3, I just want you to share 2 things. One, a small introduction to the person next to you, even if they know you, who you are, and one fun thing about you that they may or may not know, and your purpose statement or your purpose idea. You've got 2 minutes. All right, 30 more seconds. All right, shall we reconvene? Good. So, what were some of your statements, the reasons for being here or still being here? Come on, our expert lunger.
Actually, thank you first, because I was nearly to forget my purpose. And my purpose was actually, like I said, I was a client in this business for 10 years. I was a skipper. Then I realized that I can do better and I can add different things to this business. And I realized that when I was just explaining.
Can I have someone on this side of the room? The gentleman all in blue in the back row, who's avoiding eye contact.
Hello. The reason why I'm here, I truly get happy when I see people being happy from what we offer them. I really enjoy the smiles in the end.
Okay.
I actually appreciate it.
Good. Now, I'm not going to make you all do your statements, but did any of you have exactly the same reason as the 2 you've heard? Okay. There's a lady in the back who says yes, so that's fine. But let's say for almost a plurality of you, you didn't. Even for the young lady in the back, I'm sure there's a nuance which is slightly different. So you're all in it for various different reasons, even though the industry is the exact same one. The geographies might obviously be quite overlapping and all the rest. So I want you to hold on to that, because that's what's going to make you unique, and that's what we're going to pull through for the rest of the session. Which brings us to the next letter, A. Can anyone guess what A stands for? I know it's not an expletive. Ambition, good idea. But no, sorry. Any other ideas? Attitude, good idea as well, but no. I'm getting material for the next time I do this. Yes. Action. Good idea, I'll bookmark that. Okay. No, A is for assets. Now, assets are more than just the boats. right? I know we're immediately going to go down that direction, or the services. But they're you, they're your team, they're your expertise, they're your background, they're your history. They're what you do and how you put it all together. Now, there's three kinds of assets, 'cause all good things come in threes. You have the tangible, which are literally what you can touch and feel and see, the boats, the services, the geographies that you operate in, the people. You have services, again, who does what, how do you do it, whether it's, stellar cleaning services to 6 a.m. yoga sessions with dolphins, although how you guarantee the dolphins is your business. And then the last one is the personal element. And I love it when I put question marks in a presentation and the audience are like, shit, he's supposed to tell us exactly what to do, and there's a bunch of question marks on the slide. The personal is what you just went through, the reason that you're doing what you're doing. And as you saw, it's completely unique to you. So just to give you a live example, as I think you heard from Martina, I'm a photographer, among other things. So let's say I win the lotto tomorrow, and I say, you know what, I'm going to become a charter operator. I'm going to buy 10 yachts and push them out there. As a photographer, as that unique personal element to me, I might say, you know what, whatever these boats are, whether they're 5 meters or 500 meters, that's a big boat, I'm going to design them internally to be super Instagrammable. Every corner, from the toilet to the kitchen to the bedroom to the deck, will be a perfect Instagram background for my clients to use, and they can turn their yacht into their ultimate TikTok story. I would never do that, I hate it, but that could be the influence I'm governed by. Comparatively, one of you might be an ex-ballerina, in which case, if you win the lotto and buy a yacht, or buy a series of yachts, you might say, you know what, I'm going to kit them all out internally with proper hardwood decks because I just want that sound every time someone steps on the deck, as if it's the ballerina tapping around. And you know what, I'm going to put a super great sound system in because I want them to be able to hear the Nutcracker, the ballet, perfectly well. And that's how you'll design your fleet, or that's how you'll sell your services, because it's that part of you coming to life, right? Again, extremes, but it's just to generate the point. So I want you, again, in 1 minute, to go back to this construct, and I want you to identify one tangible asset, one service asset, and one personal asset, either as a key word or a key phrase, and jot them down, and we'll reconvene. If you need to ask questions, by all means. And of course, try and make it as unique as possible. So I don't want to hear we operate in Croatia. I want to hear we operate within these 2 latitudes, and these, get it as specific as you can, if whatever that specific item can be. It'll help. The tangible is the physical items. So obviously, given this crowd, we're talking about boats, but it could be we only have boats with 4 cabins, basta. Or we only have boats that are 15 meters and up. Or we specialize in boats that can run 50% on battery power. Whatever it is, it's something that's very concrete, right?
Or even location.
As long as it's specific. Because I think quite a lot, that's why I made the point. If all of you say, well, we operate on the Dalmatian coast, okay, great, but why are you unique in that? Right. I added geography because there are obviously some of you that might say, listen, we only operate in Micronesia. Okay, I don't think many operators just do that, but. Let's give it about 10, 15 more seconds. That's true. Those are physical assets. There are trainers, and then there's trainers with books, there's trainers with courses. Yeah. There's trainers who have a very distinctive look and feel. I'm the only trainer with pink socks as part of my identity, then that stands out. Right. All right. Just like last time, a few lunges. Can you reconvene in your pairs or groups of 3 and just share your 3 key words or 3 key phrases? We'll do this in about a minute. Voilà. Okay, swap if you haven't swapped. All right, let's start winding down. Good. All right. It's sharing time. So, give me some three sets of threes.
Well, for me, tangible, I would definitely say I'm in a different part of the world that I'm used to, geographically. And it's a challenge because I'm super, super new to this business, like other than everybody else. And it was just a huge challenge. The service was a challenge to me.
Okay.
And personally, it's just happiness, you know, in a bubble.
Okay.
And I like my bubble.
One of the ladies in the back there.
One second.
One second.
Personal, I would say like satisfaction to accompany our guests from the booking to the boat, like the whole this experience and excitement. Services, well, I would say that we are really like advisable agency who would say also the properly comments and adjustments and advices, and we are really proud of that. And tangible, I'm not sure because we are working as an agent. I'm working as an agent and we do not own the boats, but maybe geographically, let's say that we are based in really beautiful town. The name is Biograd and this is like near Zadar.
Okay.
And we are like connected with the locals and we know how the system is working.
Okay.
Let's say like this.
Okay. Now, just like last time, how many of you had exactly similar elements? Okay, the lady in the back there. Always. No. Okay. But there are also still nuances, right? And now, depending on the client you have, the 3 points that you have each identified for yourselves will be of various importance depending on the client. So for example, just to get it on the record, none of you do 6 a.m. yoga sessions with dolphins? Okay. You've lost me as a customer. There will be a customer out there where that's a highly wanted service. There's a customer out there who, on the other side, says, that's nonsense. I want a boat to be super clean, super serviced, looks brand new, even if it isn't brand new. So the service element, whatever it is that you've picked, you need to understand that it'll be of one importance to one set of clients and of completely or less importance to another. And you need to also think about, is that okay with you? Is that something that you're happy to push and remain in that space? Or maybe that space doesn't give you enough clients. I mean, after COVID, cleaning was, for example, very important for everyone, obviously, but it hasn't remained super, super top priority for as many. So if you had built an identity around the most super clean yacht, okay, now that's almost the basic. It's not as important as it used to be. So you need to keep these kinds of elements in mind. Which brings us to, since we've done a lot of self-reflection now, we have to start thinking now about that client. And in order to understand the client, we must understand the need, right? Why do they come to us? And it's not because of the cabin size, it's not because of the cost, it's not because of the dietary requirements. There's something that they're trying to solve for. There's a problem that they're trying to solve. So with that as a small hint, what do you believe the T in path might stand for? Temptation, an interesting one. Target? Not yet. Get there. Trust? Related in a weird way, but no. Transparency? Also related in a weird way, but no. Technology, that's very specific. No. No, T is for tension. So they have a need, but the need is an expression of an underlying tension that they have, right? A problem that they're trying to solve, or an itch they're trying to scratch, right? To put it a bit more colloquially. Now, when it comes to tensions, we move very far away from the tangible. It's things like, I'm booking this holiday, or I'm booking this experience because maybe I need to escape. Maybe there's a paparazzi on my ass and I just need to get on a boat and get out to the middle of the North Sea where no one can find me, and that's the only way to do it, and I can finally get my peace of mind and there won't be any photos of me in the press if I'm that kind of client. Maybe it's fulfilling a dream. I mentioned my friend the skipper who, after 20 years of planning, finally did the Northwest Passage, right? These, when they're expressed as needs, might be, well, you know, in order to do the Northwest Passage, I need a boat, it needs to have a strong hull, it needs to have so many cabins because this is going to be the size of my crew, but that's not the full story. You need to understand what's beneath the surface, and you need to start identifying the tension areas that either align with you or that you're also willing to go after. So, one more exercise. I want you to think about maybe the last 2 or 3 good experiences you had with a client, right? Booking them their yacht. And not an experience where they came back and said, yes, I had a nice holiday, thank you very much. But an experience where you know that somehow, even accidentally, you help them solve that tension, or let's say fulfill a dream, to put it in the positive. So identify what the needs were, what the slightly more superficial asks from them were, and try and guess what the tensions behind those needs were. Right? Now, again, I'll give you a construct which you can use. You're not obliged to use it in this way. But again, just to sort of get you started. So I came to you because, again, I needed a boat with a skipper or whatever. What I actually was seeking was something more existential, something more fundamental to me. Unlike everyone who's not in this room, I, as a provider, will focus on whatever I need to help fulfill that tension, to help solve that tension, because it allows us to do it in a certain way, given the assets that you just identified, what made you special, right? So start pulling those in. I'll give you 2 minutes for this. And if you want, actually, yeah, you can go straight into groups. It might help. I'll give you 1 more minute. Shall we wind down? All right, I've been hearing a few good things. Oh, I'll give this group one more minute. Right, let's come back. Now, oh, some really deep conversations on this side. Good. Despite what it says on the back, I'm not going to ask you to share, but I do want sort of a yes or no response in the room to the following question, which is, again, and I don't know if you paired off with people in your own team or, let's say, competition or the rest, but from the stories that you heard from each other, can you project into your world, into your industry, into the environment, and assume that if you start thinking in this way and you start talking to clients in this way, beyond the superficial needs, do you think you'd have a richer conversation? Do you think you might have, let's get back to the sales element, do you think you might have an opportunity to cross-sell them something different, upsell them to something different, if you understand beyond that superficial need? Do you think you might have the opportunity to build a long-term relationship with some of them because you can continue servicing that tension and solving that need? Okay. Which brings us to our last letter, H. Last chance to get it right. What do you think H stands for? We're not talking about ourselves anymore. We're talking about the end client, partner, etc. Help. Hospitability. Happiness. Okay. You're a very happy gentleman, I know. But you like to see people smile, which is good. Any last takers? Human. Close. But we're looking for a type of human. That's my last hint. No, it's one word. Come on, guys. It means hero. Okay. The hero in the story always has to be the client and their problem, their need, their tension. It's not, hey, we're the biggest agency, we're the biggest charter operator, we have the best boats or the most beautiful boat. It has nothing to do with you. It's about them. And you have to talk to them as a guide, right? If I had a long beard, I'd be Gandalf and I'd be guiding the hobbits, another H word, to get to where they need to do and save the planet or find themselves, right? You're a guide, they're the hero, and you're providing the solution to that tension. So, again, I will give you a construct. Don't have to follow it religiously, but I want you to start tying in the different elements that you've talked about, right? Who you are, what you have, the unique set of things that you have, the assets, right? What is the tension you've identified that you want to start solving for and you want to target people with that tension, right? And then wrap it all up. What is that journey for them? And what's the guidance that you're going to offer them, right? Not just in the moment, but even in a longer term context, right? Because every client who finally books with you, that's not necessarily the end of their journey. It's they'll return the boat, hopefully in one piece, but there's still, that tension hasn't, let's say, been solved forever. And they will definitely want to come back to you to help solve it again, because you'll have done such a good job the first time. So if I give you a minute, just try and fill in some of the blanks or come up with your own construct. And we'll get to your mission statement. And you can work together, you can work alone. Sharing is caring. Yeah. Right. Can I pick on 2 volunteers again? I'll pick one of the pair of gentlemen here. You seem to be very animated. So, who's your hero? And what are you doing for them?
We concluded briefly that our hero is always our guest. And what they want to become, and we help them to become, is a sailor for the time he is with us. So not just a client, not a tourist, but a sailor who is part of the community, who is like at home around the area, aboard the boat, and we give the chance to develop themselves, to evolve, to grow up to the seamanship.
Okay, so they're not a tourist passing through. It's very powerful. Should I pick on you?
I love seeing happy people. So I know if you're on a boat, you're on the water, you enjoy the people, the food, you're going to be happy. So for me, it's just making a happy human.
Happy human. I have to say I was very unhappy doing my 2-day crossage. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. I was wet. But anyway. When I finished, I was very happy to be on land again. Okay. Okay. No, I learned some very basic sailing. I definitely felt for the time I was on the boat I was part of that community, but I was very happy to join the original community that I was part of before and you know, visit more yachts while they're still moored. Okay. We are a bit short on time, which is good because we've had some very nice and animated discussions. So just to wrap up, you've identified your path in chunks. It needs refinement. You're going to have to talk to your colleagues. You're going to have to do a little bit more soul searching yourselves. But again, the idea is, who are you and why are you here? What do you have? How does that get manifested? What is the problem you're trying to solve for your client, whether it's turning them into a temporary sailor, whether it's putting a smile on their face, which only you know, a yacht experience can do, not a safari in Kenya. Right? You'll have to develop that and pull it out. And then how do you represent all of that to your client in a language that makes them the center of everything? It's not you selling. I think we've heard from some of the speakers. It's getting them to buy what you're offering because they feel that as the hero, you're the only tool that will help them get to where they want to go or help them be what they want to be. So just to give you a live example, it could be one of your mission statements. We're here to bring authentic adventure to those seeking more than just a vacation, leveraging our personal knowledge of hidden Mediterranean gems and the most lovable crew you will ever meet. They're like the family you wish you actually had instead of the one you got. For clients seeking intimate privacy, away from the paparazzi, and a deeper connection with nature, we turn each charter into a personal journey that makes them feel truly free. Put that on your LinkedIn, on your website, on whatever, and it won't appeal to everyone, but it'll appeal, if that's who you are, you will attract the people that are like you. And I think you've heard from several speakers in the last 3 days, we connect with people that we like. If we like them, we trust them. If we trust them, we buy from them, and it's a nice virtuous cycle. So we're going to skip the exercise where you do that, and I'm just going to leave you with a bit of a teaser, which is if you thought your jobs were done, they're absolutely not. Everything comes in threes. So you've done, or hopefully you will do, you know, the most difficult bit, which is the foundational bit. But knowing the path is not the same as walking the path. Sorry, another Gandalf reference. Actually, it's not Gandalf, it's someone else, but anyway. The other sections, which you've heard probably from different speakers along the last 2 days, focus on let's say the middle section is about innovation within your products and services. Again, so if you know why you're different and who you're targeting, what would you physically design or create or offer to really fine-tune it, to really make that hero's toolbox unique to you? That's the center section. And the last section is the whole communications, the marketing, the branding, you know, how do you express everything that you've just done in a way that means to them. Where do you express it? How do you target them? How do you retain the relationship, after they've done their booking, et cetera, et cetera. So you've done the hard work, or you've started doing the hard work, but you still need to connect the dots with everything else, right? It has to carry through to all the other efforts and all the other touch points, because there's no point you developing this wonderful identity, this wonderful mission, and then it never showing up on the back end or on the end that the client sees, right? So don't create a document with your mission and bury it somewhere on your computer. It needs to be living, breathing, and manifesting itself across everything that you do. So with that, I invite you to, if you have any other questions or you'd like to become a full pathfinder, by all means feel free to connect. I'd be happy to advise and to talk with you. But I hope you found this session somewhat useful and put some smiles on some of your faces. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you very much. And as you can see, I'm a land-based community person. So are there any questions? Yep.
What does the fin and der stand for?
F is for feedback, I is for identity, N is for not you. Not you is a stage where after you've identified everything that you've done, you do a self-reflection and you say, well, if I'm this, by default, that means I'm not that. And by doing that extra exercise, you really test yourself to say, for example, if I'm going to say, I'm the only operator that works in Micronesia, well, that obviously means I don't work anywhere else. Am I comfortable with that? Is that good for business, good for clients, good for whatever? D stands for, wow. Sorry, E is for execution, R is for reward, and D stands for, I've completely forgot, Tony, sorry. Wow, desire, sorry, desire. So D is where you start building the brand and the communication assets and sort of building that pull that comes to you. E is, okay, now that you've built those assets, where do you put them and when do you target people and how do you target them? And the reward, at least in the industries that I operate, I increasingly find that even if you do all that work and you prove yourself and you connect with them and all the rest, a customer still wants to know, okay, what is it that I'm, apart from what I'm physically buying from you, what's that little extra that comes with it? And the little extra could be, for example, I think some of you have spoken to me already. When I give you my business card, which has a really nice visual on it, and they're here if you want some. You will meet other people like me. You have met other people like me. We all have our own modes of working, our own agency models. We're all selling the same kinds of services, or we're trying to help you in the same kinds of ways. But the reason that I stand out, that little reward that you get from me is, okay, I'm getting someone who, because of their photography background, their creative background, they're not just a practitioner, they've actually created stuff and they know how to connect with people on that level as well. So within your world, the reward could be, well, it's not just I get a fruit basket when I get on the yacht as a client, but it's actually maybe when I get off the yacht a month later, you send me, again, if this was the photographer who built the fleet, you might get a nice little photo album of experiences because maybe the yacht was fitted out with authorized cameras, and just from the shots that it was taking, it created a nice little video or photo album, which you didn't know, you didn't expect, and you said, oh, actually, great, they did the work for me. I don't have to transfer the photos from my phone and find a printer and make an album. It came, and it came for free. I didn't even expect it, which made it an even better reason for me to remember this company and work with this operator again, right? So, voila, good question.